Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 7 of the Kpop Weekly Podcast with Emily Mallon. I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining me once again. We have a massive week this week. I've got a full review of Jungkook's debut solo album. WayV is finally back. I'm going to give you a full review of their album and Zerobaseone. I know there's a lot of fans out there. This young group is killing it. It's their first comeback. I've got thoughts. I was definitely a little nervous last week about the first ever Fandom Face-off. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and recording felt good, but you never know till you put something out how people are going to respond. And I'm so grateful that you guys loved it. I've received a lot of wonderful notes. Again, massive shout out Lamar, Alyssa, and Kyoko. I think because of my 3 guests, the first Fandom Face-off was phenomenal, and I'm so excited to do it again. I'm so happy you guys liked it. Reminder, Discord is set up. If you're into Discord, if you want to make friends with the listening community, talk about episodes, please head over there. Follow, subscribe, do all of those annoying things content creators beg you to do. The links are in the description. More importantly, I'm just so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining me again. I'm excited about tonight's show. Before I get into these reviews, I want to announce Fandom Face-off went so well. It's time to cast for the next round of Fandom Face-off. After a lot of thought and deliberation, the 2 fandoms going at it in Hypen's Engines and ATEEZ's Atony. So if you're part of Atony fandom or an Engine and you want to come on the show and explain why your group's the best, please shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I'm hoping to do this one sometime in December. So if you're available in December, if you want to come on the show, you saw how it went last week. It's about a 20 to 30 minute segment. It'll be me, a special guest judge, and 2 fans duking it out, sharing why they love the music, why they love this group, and why they think they should be the winner. All you have to do, pick one song, one music video, and let us know why you love the group. Friendly conversation, and it's a way to uplift the fandom community. No fighting on this podcast. We're positive and we love music. If you want to be a part of it, shoot me an email, my info, it's all listed. The show's info is listed in the description. Love to have you on the show. Please reach out. This was fun and I can't wait to do it again, but I need fans to participate. So reach out. Atony, Engines, I'm calling for you. Your next round of Fandom Face-off. Want to be involved? Send me an email. Let's get to it because I have so much to review. This is a massive week in K-pop. One of the most highly anticipated releases of the year is here. Yes, I'm talking about Jungkook from BTS, his solo debut. He gave us an entire album, 11 songs. It's called Golden. I love the title. We all know he's the golden boy. If you're not familiar with Jungkook, you're probably the one person in the entire world who doesn't know who he is at this point. But Jungkook debuted with mega group BTS in 2013 under Big Hit Entertainment. So he's been doing this for 10 years. I talked about Taemin last week, how he's been a solo artist for 10 years. He's been in the industry for 15 years. Jungkook is following his path. He's a little bit younger than Taemin, but he's already been doing this for 10 years. Finally, a solo release from him, solo album. We had 2 pre-releases. He had 7, which featured Lotto, and then he had 3D, which featured Jack Harlow. You all know my thoughts on 3D. I reviewed that a few episodes ago. Go find it if you want to hear my full review. But needless to say, I was less than impressed. It wasn't my favorite thing, and I've been really concerned about what Jungkook was going to put out with this album. Because to me, it felt like we were kind of lowering the bar musically to fit into a Western audience. And I hate too many features unless it really adds to a song. I always find it kind of like, eh. So I was a little bit worried, guys. I was worried coming into this. The title track is called Standing Next to You. I was so concerned. I thought I was just Really, really worried I was going to hate this one. And I don't. I love it. I love the song. I'm so pleasantly surprised. I'm sorry for doubting you, Jungkook. I'm sorry for doubting you. This song is a hit. I'm obsessed with it. To me, it's like head and shoulders above 3D and 7. This is so, 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 so much better. And I think what they did there was kind of introduce Jungkook to the general public. Those songs are radio friendly. They sound like stuff that's already on the radio here in the States and in the Western world. So it was a way to kind of introduce him, like baby steps for people who don't know who he is and definitely aren't K-pop fans. I get it. Now it's international superstar. Now it's not just pandering to an American audience. With this song, this is international superstar. Standing Next to You, to me, it's like Michael Jackson meets Daft Punk. I love, love, love this sound. I'm partial to this type of music. And this shows off what Jungkook can do. This is what I was waiting for because I think what we've heard so far really doesn't showcase his talent and his vocals. Here, we're getting runs, we're getting range, we're getting the Jungkook experience. I'm so here for it. I'm so happy. I love the intensity at the beginning of the chorus and then that smooth groove. There's such a smooth groove to this. His runs during the second verse, phenomenal. The melody too is challenging. This is a really challenging melody vocally, and he just glides right through it like it's nothing. And again, we shouldn't be surprised. If you're a fan, you know what he's capable of. But this is not an easy song to sing. And he's just out here killing it. And he's done a few live performances now. The Fallon performance was phenomenal. He's killing it, and he's showing why there's so much hype around him and why he is kind of the next big international superstar. The bridge, the bridge in this song, they're my horns. Let's go. I love the horns. I love the bridge in this song so much. This song I feel like was made for me. This is perfect. It's everything I love musically. You all know I'm more of kind of an R&B type of gal. I love this. This is Rock With You, Michael Jackson. I get it. I love it. And I think it was so, so well executed. This should be a huge hit. It's infinitely better than 3D. And if it doesn't get a lot, I'm just going to say this. If Standing Next to You doesn't get a lot of radio play, there's zero reason for that outside of perhaps some racism. I would say xenophobic, but like this is an all English song that sounds like a Michael Jackson song. So the only reason it wouldn't get American radio play, in my view, it's because it's a guy from Korea and it's racism, period. There's no other reason. Because if they're playing Seven, which has Lotto on it, and it's getting radio play, and if they're playing 3D, which has Jack Harlow, and it's getting radio play, why wouldn't Standing Next to You get radio play? This song is a hit. It's so radio friendly. You can't tell me the song's not radio friendly. It's the right length. It's cool. Yes, there's a lot going on in that melody at points, but then it breaks and you've got this really nice groove. It's dynamic. This should be a massive hit. And I'm going to be so freaking mad if this doesn't do the numbers that those previous two songs did because it deserves it more than those songs. This is the song. I'm so, so, so happy this was the title track. I think it's brilliant. Brilliant. Obsessed. This is exactly what Jungkook should be doing. And he knocked it out of the park. His team knocked it out of the park. This whole thing. Love it. Love the song. And I'm not surprised actually, because when I looked at the songwriters, there's a songwriter in the song named Alexandra Tamposi. And she wrote huge pop hits. Like back in the day, she did Stronger by Kelly Clarkson. She did Havana, Camila Cabello. And she also did one of my favorite songs, 5 Seconds of Summer, Youngblood. So one of the songwriters on all of those songs is on the songwriting list for Standing Next to You. It makes sense. This song is a hit. Love it. Gotta talk about the music video. A Superstar is Born. It's simple it's not a typical K-pop video, but it didn't feel as dumbed down to me as like 3D. That felt very TRL, early 2000s, basic. This felt superstar, but really the focus is on him. And that's the way it should be. He's in this like old building on an old stage with dancers, and there's a beautiful woman watching him. And that's pretty much it. There's fight scenes kind of towards the end. And I got the feel of like a gangster vibe. It felt kind of gangster, like all these guys in suits fighting, and they all show up in their limos. You know, when the dons of like a mafia family show up and meet? That's what this felt like. And maybe Jungkook's the leader of it, and that's his girl, just watching him destroy the world with his handsomeness and dance moves. I'm not quite sure, but I thought it was really, really effective. And again, he's the star. Just like on the song, he doesn't need a feature. In the music video, we didn't need a lot happening. All you need is him dancing, because the choreography for this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is Michael Jackson. This is difficult, amazing choreography. That bridge choreography is insane. But there's also little moments like when he starts the second verse and he's just shuffling, doing like a simple move with rhythm. Jungkook's so good. This is why he's the golden boy. He's so good at so many things. When I used to do on my last podcast, New York City K-pop Queens, we started something, your group fantasy, like your ultimate fantasy K-pop group. Not going to say we invented the idea, because I'm sure somebody did it before us, but this is maybe like 3 years ago, and now I've seen it everywhere. Every podcast seems to do it every week. We did it a long time ago, and then we updated it throughout the years. And every year, my number one pick was Jungkook. He's who I took number one. I think he's like vocally, face, dance, charisma. You want him in your K-pop group. He's a superstar, and he's finally getting to prove it. How exciting is that? Like, I loved this music video. Simple styling. We don't need crazy outfits. It's simple. It's definitely shorter pants, Michael Jackson. He looked so handsome. I liked the fast cuts when that melody picks up and has a little bit of chaos. I liked it when he was wearing a suit with angel wings. This is why this was my first ever bias in K-pop. The first guy that drew me in, I'll never forget seeing him doing DNA. He was wearing that like red and blue jacket. Yeah, this is why this was my bias. And I became obsessed with K-pop and why I'm here doing this. It's this man. It's Jungkook. He's a superstar, and he's so handsome in the music video. I love this music video. A lot of times simplicity is better. When you have the talent, this was so well executed. Again, I've been hard on Jungkook's team. I haven't liked some of this stuff. I'm happy to eat my words, at least for the single and the music video. This is phenomenal. This is superstar stuff. And again, if it doesn't reach the heights that it should, I don't have any other excuse besides racism, besides people trying to keep Asian artists out, because everything about this is a superstar. And I think if someone else put out this song and this music video, it would do amazing numbers and have the attention of the world. So I'm hoping and praying that this does as well, because he's a star. He's a superstar. He's a bright, shining star, and he deserves everything good that's coming his way. I loved this single and the music video. It's like they did kind of the cheap tricks of like, let's get some mid-American rappers to get us radio play. Okay, this guy's cool. And then all of a sudden, this guy's like so much better than you. Like, this guy's a superstar. He stands on his own, and he's here to take over the industry. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Amazing. But we have to talk about the full album. He gave us 11 songs, and this is an English album. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is a pop album. This isn't K-pop, which is interesting because Bang PD just did an interview saying he wants the K removed from K-pop and he just wants it to be pop. I think that's incredibly short-sighted. I understand what he's saying. Like, this is a pop album, but there's room for K-pop, and there's a reason so many of us love K-pop and gravitated towards it. So I understand there's a real conversation to be had, but I wouldn't categorize this as K-pop. I categorize this as a pop album. It reminds me of Monsta X, their English releases. Those were much more just pop than K-pop to me. And what I mean by that is they're more universal pop sound, style. They don't have the elements that a lot of K-pop songs have. And then obviously the language, but you can sing an English song that still sounds like a K-pop song. You can sing a Korean song that sounds like a pop song. But I think when you do all English and it sounds like a Western song, to me, that kind of takes away from the K-pop title. So Golden is a pop album. It's pure pop. And he gave us a lot of different things. I think there's something for everyone on this album. And he did an amazing interview in The Atlantic, if you guys haven't read it, kind of talking about how he's ready to be a superstar, a pop star. And he mentioned not writing anything on the album. Because, that's something people bring up. I talk about groups writing or not writing and why that's impressive. But he kind of said he's not confident in his songwriting skills yet. So he didn't want to do that. He kind of knows how to pick his battles. And for this, he was just going to focus on his vocal performance and the other aspects as an artist. You all know how I feel about Stray Kids writing, producing, mixing, arranging their music, and how I think that's really impressive. At the same token, everyone doesn't have to do that. My only criticism is when certain fandoms come at me saying, well, my favorites write all their songs too. No, they don't. So that's where I get a little, let's be clear here. But I talked about Taemin last week. I think Taemin is a phenomenal artist. Taemin's not writing any of that, but he knows who he is. He knows what songs to pick. He knows what he wants to do. That's fine. I don't think there's any problem with Jungkook not writing these songs. This is a really carefully crafted debut. Nothing wrong with that. So I just want to put that out there. He didn't write these songs. Who cares? If it's good, it's good. These are my album picks of the 11 songs. Hate You, Shot Glass Full of Tears, Too Sad to Dance. Those are the ones that stood out to me the most, but I will be honest, my rankings of this album have gone all over the place since I listened to it. I've had less than a week since it came out for me to do this review. There's a lot of good stuff on here, and I think why I keep going back and forth, there's stuff that I gravitate to musically. So I might like this song more than this one. But then listening to the album over and over again, I could understand, oh, but this is a good song. If you're into this style, this is a good song. Or maybe this one, if you're into EDM, this is a good song. So those are really my picks based on my personal taste, and my rankings have changed. We need to talk about Hate You. Jungkook is so good at emotional delivery. He's always understood that. I think his performance in BTS, he always has kind of understood how to deliver an emotional ballad. And think about Truth Untold. Truth Untold, all of the singers in BTS do a great job in that. And when you see it live, there's a moment with Tae, that I was always really taken aback. Jungkook is so consistent in his emotion. He's able to convey emotion very well. And I really wanted that. I wanted the tenderness. I wanted that thing where it almost sounds like he's going to cry when he sings a song, because he's done a lot of covers throughout the years that we've been blessed to see where he does that. So boy, was I happy with Hate You. And then I was bawling my eyes out within 10 seconds. This one has Shawn Mendes on the writing team. Woo, it is heartbreaking. This is a heartbreaking song. I don't know if it's about his ex, Camila Cabello, but oh my goodness. If it is, ooh, girl, you put him through it. This one, wow. The lyrics are so stunning. And it starts off with this kind of chime, really interesting, delicate instrumentation. And then he goes into this verse. I'm just going to read a few of the lyrics because I think it's so well done. I wish you went behind my back and told me lies and stuff like that. I wish you kissed someone I know and did the unforgivable. Maybe hating you is the only way it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to hate you. I'm going to hate you and paint you like the villain that you never were. I'm going to blame you for things that you don't do because hating you is the only way it doesn't hurt. I can't even read the lyrics without crying. I can't even read the lyrics without crying. That is like, it's such a specific pain. It's such a specific, like, sorry. I don't know why I'm like so emotional. Reading out loud, I guess. I'm so sorry. That like caught up to me. It's weird because I bawled my eyes out the first time I heard the song, but I wasn't expecting to cry, like reading the lyrics. Sometimes when you read something out loud for some reason, like, uh, that was like my 10 things I hate about you, where she reads that poem about like, I don't hate you. Yeah, that just caught up to me so much because I think those are such like, oh my goodness. Ugh. It's such a like specific sad thing, you know? It's easier to hate someone than to just sit in the heartbreak. So you're going through a breakup where the person just doesn't love you anymore and doesn't want to be with you and wishing that they did something, that they cheated and lied and did the traditional like this person sucks actions. So you had a reason to hate them because it's hard to just hate somebody only because they don't love you. Ugh, perfect. Kudos to the songwriters. This is so beautiful. It's so beautiful, very specific yet universal. Those are hard songs to get right, and they got this one right. Obviously, I love it. It makes me cry. I think it's so beautiful. And his performance of it is fantastic. It's so, so stunning. So I'm a massive fan of this. I love it. Um, it's short, it's radio friendly, it's relatable. When I first heard this, I thought, this is Jungkook's Falling by Harry Styles. I'm sure most of you know that song. It's a great song. This is Jungkook's Falling. I think we're going to hear a lot of idols covering it in the future. This is the song. People are going to cry at the concert, clearly. Can't believe I did that. I swear I'm not going to cry every episode, you guys. And I'm not like an emotional mess. I just, I'm super sensitive. I'm like my friend Lamar, his album is called Highly Sensitive Person. I'm highly sensitive and art and music moves me a lot. Um so yeah, apologies for that. I wasn't expecting that. That was a little weird. I just get like so moved by music. It's everything to me and this and art and poetry and I just loved that. That was just a very specific, oh, yeah, what a feeling. I hope they push this one hard. I would love to see this one push because, again, it's radio friendly and it's really specific and like relatable. So, yeah, I loved that one. I think Shot Glass Full of Tears, it's the ending track. So, on this album, they're telling a story, and I do appreciate that. It's not just random songs, they tell the story from meeting the person and falling for them, hooking up, dating. Oh no, things are starting to go bad. Break up, I don't care. Break up, I'm heartbroken. Now I've got Shot Glass Full of Tears. I like that title. I like that title. Shot Glass Full of Tears. Perfect. That's painting a picture. And it's just kind of that like sitting in the pain. You know, he's not in the I'm going to hate you crying himself to sleep every night, but I pictured like it's been months since the breakup and he's saying, am I ever going to feel again? Am I ever going to breathe again? Like it's just still, it still sucks and it's still painful. And heartbreak in all shapes and forms can do that to a person at times. So I liked it. It wasn't like the wailing in pain. It was more of the subtle out drinking with friends. He's got a shot glass full of tears. Well written song. I also really liked Too Sad to Dance. And it's funny because upon first listen, I was like, this is good. And then the more I went back to the album, I was like, this one has a nice story and a nice hook. And it reminds me musically a lot of Justin Bieber's Love Yourself. This reminds me of that. There's a very similar sound, phrasing, vibe. and it sneaks up on you and stays in your head. It's a good pop song. And I think this almost has like a little bit of a country feel, you know? There's a little bit of a country pop vibe here that works. I think that works. And maybe also Shot Glass Full of Tears. That's a country title if I've ever heard one. There's a little bit of country seeping in here. I'm not mad at it. I think it works. I like these songs. Yes or No is a good one. I didn't mention that in my features, but that's one that I see sticking out quite a bit. A lot of people love that one. It's very, very pop. I think Yes or No is like, to me, the song that BTS fans are going to like the most because it sounds familiar. This would also be very appealing to the general public. Ed Sheeran was on the writing team for it. It's a very familiar melody. I saw some like Taylor Swift fans saying he stole the melody from her. And what's funny is it didn't take long for someone to respond with what I was going to respond with. No, if that's true, then she stole that from Usher. You Got It Bad. That's like, first of all, You Got It Bad by Usher. That song slaps. If you've never listened to that song, go listen to it. But that part in the verse that might sound familiar, for me, that's where that was from. That's an Usher song from like early 2000s. And then Taylor Swift has a song that's a little bit slowed down with a very similar rhythm. And now Yes or No has that. I think this song in general is a little generic. That's not a good or bad thing. Again, this has mass appeal. So I understand why a lot of ARMY and why a lot of people like Yes or No. You've got a couple EDM songs here. You've got Major Lazer on one. You have DJ Snake on Please Don't Change. I think Please Don't Change is probably my favorite of those two. But you have EDM. You have a little country tinge. You have pure pop. You've got pop R&B. You've got pop hip hop. There's a lot of different stuff here in a really, really good pop album. I think this is a good album. I was so pleasantly surprised when this came out. I was so pleasantly surprised listening to it last Thursday night. I thought, this is so much better than I was expecting. They tricked me, but what a nice trick. What a good trick. I'm excited for Jungkook. I like this. I think he knocked it out of the park. He deserves everything that's coming to him. He will be like the biggest international solo star in the world. I truly, truly believe that. That's what they've set up for him, and he's doing everything he needs to do to get there. I like this. I like this. Standing Next to You is obviously my vibe. I would have been happy with that tone throughout the whole album, but I understand what they're doing. They've assembled songs to give JK an album that appeals to the masses. This is a very calculated debut. They all are, but this one more so than any I can think of in recent memory. They did everything that they could do for a pop album that appeals to the masses. Excited to see if it works. I'm really curious where this is going to debut. I came in thinking he'll definitely get number one, but he's battling it out with Taylor Swift. You can't ever count her out. So we'll see. I think streaming is going to be massive. As of sales, he's not going to get there. It'll be announced by the time this podcast comes out, but I'm recording it a day before the chart drops. So I'll keep you updated. Follow my social media for that stuff. I also am so really quick before I get to my rankings. I'm happy they didn't do features. There were no other features on the whole album. So those first two songs tricked us, and now the whole album's just Jungkook. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's time for my rankings. From my least favorite to my favorite songs on Jungkook's debut solo album, Golden. Let's get it going. There's 11 songs. Number 11, 3D. Number 10, 7, the clean version. Number 9, 7. Number 8, Closer to You. Number 7, Please Don't Change. My number 6 song, Yes or No. Number 5, Somebody. I love that we couldn't tell it was JK at the beginning, singing that low register. Number 4, Too Sad to Dance. Number 3, Shot Glass Full of Tears. Number 2, Hate You. My number 1 song. It was the right choice. It's the right song. This song is a hit. Please support it. Standing Next to You. JK, you killed that. So, so proud. Congratulations to Jungkook and his whole team. Knocked it out of the park. This is such a good song. Really strong debut. Support, support, support. If you're Army, if this is your guy, support him. He killed it. If you're multi like me, support him. He killed it. Great album. So proud of you, Jungkook. And congratulations to him too on Jimmy Fallon, on the Today Show. The appearances he's done, he's killed it. He's really, really put on good performances. Massive shout out to the English pronunciation. His pronunciation is really good on this album. And I thought it was amazing watching him do the interview with Jimmy Fallon. His English has gotten so much better. If you've tried to learn Korean, you know how hard it is. So for these guys to learn English, it's the same thing. Going English to Korean, Korean to English, I don't think it's easy. He's really put in a lot of work and it shows. So congratulations to him. I hope he can exhale and enjoy all of this. I think like Jungkook is really hard on himself. I noticed today they did the Today Show thing. I'm recording this on Wednesday. He apologized to his fans after the performance for messing up and says he'll do better next time. He promises he won't let them down. I'm not even sure what he was talking about. From what I saw, it was great. So he's so hard on himself. It's why he's so good. But I hope he gets a chance sometime soon or maybe in the future to realize how good he is, how amazing the product he puts out is, and how we're all just very proud and supportive. You killed this. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Exhale. Deserved. Let's move on to Zerobaseone. Zerobaseone boy group debuted this year, 2023, on a reality show called Boys Planet. There's 9 members, and their age ranges are from 16 to 25. So I thought that they were young, and then I realized, no, they're actually like pretty mixed. There's a 9-year gap. This is their first comeback. This is the first comeback of this group. I was lucky enough to see them at KCON, where the fan base was huge for Zerobaseone. I was just kind of like, oh, I like that one song, but I know nothing about them. They killed it at KCON. I'm definitely a fan. I went back and listened to their album over and over again. So I was kind of highly anticipating this one too. Very excited about their first comeback. The EP is called Melting Point. They gave us 5 songs. The single is Crush. Okay, I'm going to be real with you guys. Upon first listen, I wasn't as excited about the chorus in this one. Now I've listened to it a whole bunch the past couple days. This works. This works. I think the verses work better than the chorus for me on this one. They have that nice drum and bass sound on the verses. They really are following kind of the 5th generation drum and bass New Jeans vibe and sound. That's what it reminds me of when I hear them. And I'm not mad at that. I love New Jeans. I love that feel. So I felt a little bit of that in the verses. I have to say, Yujin sounds so good on the Calling Me part. Really clear vocals from him. Really nice vocals. I also love Junghao's voice on the chorus. Ooh. And then Jiwon stood out to me as well. I thought he had some really nice moments in this song. Those 3 voices stand out to me the most in this group. Those are my 3 standout vocalists in ZB1. The pre-chorus has a nice build here. I will say I'm not sure how strong the rappers are yet in this group. Nothing stood out to me or jumped out to me. So the rap parts I felt like weren't as strong as the vocalists. Some songs don't need rap, and that's also why I feel that way sometimes, especially with these younger groups who don't have established rappers, but maybe cast a singer and put them into the rapper role, as they often do with lower voices and lower tones. Some songs are just great pop songs, and you don't need a rap verse, or a little rap, line. But I understand they want everyone to get lines. I think that's a wonderful thing about K-pop. It's just that the rap parts didn't necessarily work as well for me in this specific song. The reason why I think I didn't love this song to begin with, the chorus is a little bit different. It's this really nice melody and cool sounding song. And then when you get to the chorus, the sound changes and it's very aggressive. And it reminds me more of an NCT or specifically Gravity. It's more their style in the chorus. The second half drops to something that feels more familiar with the rest of the song, but the chorus to me took a little bit to get used to. So that's why my initial thoughts were like, I don't know about this one. Again, I've listened to it a ton and now I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good song. But upon first listen, it took me back for a second. I was like, not quite sure. No, this is a good song. And their bridge is great. This group has good bridges. I loved it. I thought the bridge was great. I did like most of the elements of this song. I will say there was one song on the album that I liked more, that has just stuck with me more. And then when I listened to the album, I thought, is this the single? Is this the title track? And it wasn't. So I'm not sure if it's my favorite or not. I think it will grow on me. In Bloom grew on me very quickly and is one of my favorite songs of the year. So this is good. Let's move on to the music video. I love the concept. I like this knight in shining armor thing. Yes, perfect. Perfect. No notes on the concept. It works. They executed it well. There's some really interesting transitions. Really cool stuff here. The editing of this music video, top tier. I love the frozen moments, the floating stuff. That's not new. K-pop fans have seen it before, but it's really well done in this music video. Choreography, great. You can't get a real sense of the choreography sometimes in music videos, but watching them on the comeback shows and now the weekly shows, and now we have performance videos, this is great choreography. Really great choreo. They work very well together as a team, some interesting formations. I love the choreography. I will say in the music video, a few members stood out to me. I think Hanbin is very strong when he's at center. He draws your focus and he's such a confident performer. I loved watching him. But to me, the member that stood out the most is How. How has been kind of sneaking up on me when I look at their Insta. I'm always like, wait, who's that? But again, I wasn't a massive stan. So I haven't been totally choosing biases or strongly having opinions. One member stood out to me when I saw them live at KCON, and I kind of decided he was my bias. That has all changed. In this music video, every time Hao is on screen, he's a star. Like this dude, he reminds me so much of how I felt when I first watched In Hypen and when I first saw Heesung. I think Heesung is a silent assassin. He doesn't even have to try, and he draws so much focus and he has so much talent. That's what Hao reminds me of. My eyes going to him. And there's a lot of interesting, handsome, talented men in this group. But he's the one that I kept being like, wait, who's that? I was screaming during the music video. Who is that? Who is that? Yeah, he's a superstar. This music video looks big budget. I think it helps them. They all look great. It's a cool concept. Good choreography. I love this group. I'm a fan of Zerobaseone. I think the fandom's name is Zeroses, whatever it is. I am one. I like this group. They bring a really fresh, interesting perspective. I want to talk about the rest of the EP because they gave us 5 songs. I liked every song. I'm going to be honest. They're all good. But the ones that stood out to me the most, Melting Point, Take My Hand, and Kid Zone. Okay, Melting Point is so dreamy and hypnotic. Those opening notes, that what happened, it's simple, but it has stuck in my head not for the past couple of days. Like it's really, really pretty. There's definitely a New Jeans vibe in the chorus here. I love that drum and bass sound. I talked about it with the single. I like this sound, this groove. It works for me. But it's interesting because like I'm just going to be very, very honest because there's a lot of music that I listened to and took notes on this week. Of everything I listened to, the song I went back to the most was Melting Point by ZB1. I love this song. It's so like pleasant and happy and kind of hopeful and floating, but not low energy. The energy is there. This is the one that I thought would have been an interesting single. And when I listened to the album, I thought, is this the single? This is a really cool song. Crush works. Crush works. They don't need to change it. But Melting Point to me, this is the song I've come back to all week. Take My Hand. You have some interesting instrumentation here. A lot of percussion elements are happening. There's a lot happening, but the production's really well done. So it sounds very smooth and seamless. If you focus in, it's like, whoa, what is that? Oh my God, they did that. There's a lot of instruments coming in and out of this one, but I like it. I think it really works. The chorus feels hopeful and happy. Great. And then Kid Zone, I mean, the name is like a little weird, but the bass line is cool in this one. It reminds me a little bit of Pumped Up Kicks from Foster the People. If you're familiar with that song, there's something here in this bass line that was a little bit reminiscent for me. It has a groove. The name's a little weird, but it's about staying young forever. You know, they say they're going to stay young and they'll be kids forever, child forever. It's kind of again it's about youth. It's about youth. And that's the feeling I get when I listen to this group in the best way. Not juvenile, but youthful and like effervescent, happy, hopeful. I like this group. I like what they're doing. Some of this stuff, it reminds me of early T by T. There's just a really nice, interesting sound here. So I'm all for it. I'm totally into Zerobaseone. This was a great first comeback. I love this and I'm excited for them and I'm excited to watch them. I've been thinking a lot about my favorite groups not being as active these days. You know, I was thinking, well, I started my new show and I'm not going to be able to review Monsta X and NCT 127. They're going to start enlisting soon. And, you know, all of these groups, obviously BTS, but like what's so exciting is I have Zerobaseone. I have Rise, obviously Stray Kids. I have so many amazing groups to talk about and watch them grow. You know, K-pop never stops, which can be sad, but also exciting because right when you're heartbroken about someone, there's 10 other groups that are going to come in and distract you until Hyungwon gets back from the military. Yes, I'm talking about Hyungwon. This episode will come out Friday. I don't even want to think about it. I don't know why I brought it up. But again, the silver lining, there's a lot of great young groups. We know the girls have been killing it. On the girls' side, you have amazing groups, but the boys' side have great groups. There's even more I want to talk about. I'm looking forward to reviewing. I love ZB1. ZB1's amazing. Before I get to my rankings, let's talk biases. It's obvious there's been a massive bias change, but I will defend myself. I didn't have a strong bias in this group. Guvin stood out to me the most in the brief time I saw them at KCON and watched music videos. But I wasn't like, you know, completely sold because I hadn't really dove into this group yet. Now that I have, it's obvious. Jang Ho is my bias. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's a Chinese member. My pronunciation is always horrible, whether it's Korean or Chinese, but I'm trying, and I'm pretty sure it's Jang Hao. He's my bias by far. Records are all over the place. Hanbin stood out to me. I love Jiwon. Yujin's voice, he's great. I really, really like him. And I still like my original bias. He's so cute. He looked great in this comeback. He's very tall. But this dude's a superstar. I thought he was so captivating. And vocally, I kept looking up, who is that singing this part? Because that's what I do. I listen before I watch anything. I listen to the whole album. I really dive into lyrics, figure out who's singing what and why, you know, I'm excited about it. And I kept being like, oh my God, it's him. And then when I watched the music video and I was screaming, who is that? I was like, oh, this is meant to be. This is my bias. It's time for my rankings from Zerobaseone's first comeback, Melting Point EP, 5 songs from least favorite to favorite. But I'm going to be real. I loved this project. I don't really have a least favorite. So here we go. Number 5, Good Night. It's a really pretty ending song. Number 4, Take My Hand. Number 3, Kid Zone. Number 2 was Crush, the single, which means my number 1 song, the song I listened to most this week, it's Melting Point. I love, love, love that song. Great comeback. They should be very proud. I'm sure the fans are proud. I'm a fan of this group now. They're killing it. I can't wait for what's next, but first I'm going to enjoy this comeback. I feel like I'm going to be listening to these songs a lot this month. Yeah, congratulations to Zerobaseone. And I will say at KCON, they were really good. Their live performance was fantastic. They were one of my favorites, and they stood out over the weekend. So yeah, we've got some superstars on our hands. Let's move on. I have another full album to review. I told you last week, November is insanely busy. WayV. WayV, the boys of WayV, a 6-member boy group. They debuted in 2019 on SM. Originally 7 members. They were part of the NCT unit. This is an all Chinese member group of NCT. Lucas officially left the group this year, but he was on hiatus for a while before that. So they've had some personnel changes. This album is called On My Youth, the second album. They gave us 10 songs, and the single is called On My Youth. I really liked this. I think this is a departure for them from what we usually get from a title track, and it really, really works. Reflective, mid-tempo pop track. Xiaojun opens it. Oh, Xiaojun is so good. His vocals, he's really slept on as one of the best vocalists in K-pop. He really, really is. He's phenomenal. And he starts things off and sets the tone for what the song's about, what the song feels like. Really, really great vocal performance from him. I also want to say Kun doesn't get enough credit. I thought vocally his part in that first verse, he's fantastic. When he goes down, he has a little run that is so nice in his lower register. Great control in those low notes, and then emotional performance with the high notes. I thought in his part, he really showcased what he can do in a way that I wasn't as familiar with. I'm going to be honest. I think you've got some standout stars in this group. And that his couple lines in the first verse, I was going, who is that? Wait a minute. Really, really well done. The chorus kind of comes out of nowhere, though. Like they're reminding us we're still WayV. We're not giving you a ballad to start things off. Um, it's not jarring, but I just didn't think this song would have a chorus like that. It's more of like a hip hop chanting chorus. It's SM, it's great production. They can get away with it and it works pretty well. I just wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of have a similar note for this one as I did for Crush with Zerobaseone. I almost would take out the rap parts. I didn't think the rap parts worked as well in this song. The one that hit for me, interestingly, was from a non rapper. 10 raps in this song, and there's so much emotion in his delivery. It was great. I thought his was very effective. No shade to the rappers. I liked when Win Win was low, doing kind of his low singing. That worked. The strings in this song, gorgeous. There's a gravity to this, and it builds and builds and builds as the song progresses, which I love. I love it when a song doesn't just stay do 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 do. Okay, bridge do do do. This one kind of keeps building. The intensity is there, and it's building and building and building and building. I really like that. I think that works very, very well. And I know the song isn't specifically about this, but in the bridge of this one, and it's a beautiful bridge, I felt I felt the pain in Kuhn's delivery. I felt like he was the group leader expressing the pain around everything they've gone through the past couple of years, around sitting on the sidelines, delayed comebacks, Lucas's departure, the limbo they were all in. I felt some personal pain that wasn't just the lyrics of blaming it on your youth. There was something specific in his performance that as a fan, it felt like, oh, yeah, yeah, you've been through it. You guys all have. And I feel it and I see it. Also on that bridge, really nice harmonies from Xiaojun and Ten. They have a great part there that sounded beautiful. Interesting song for the first single. Usually they're sexy, aggressive. WayV has a very strong identity and presence. I like this. I think this is like a mature new chapter for them. They're still WayV and they still have that sexy, aggressive vibe, but like all of us, you grow up and you change and you evolve. And I think their sound has evolved. And I like this. It works. They're moving forward. It's grown, it's mature, and it's like a song that recognizes the emotional heft of what they've been through. Something healing in this for me personally. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I really felt like this was a healing step forward finally for WayV. So this was a great choice for single. Music video is fantastic. I want to talk about the styling because it's like opening shot. The all black while they're in the snow, that striking contrast. Ugh, I loved it. I loved it. It's gorgeous. More of that. I loved it. Visually, this is beautiful. WayV's an NCT unit, so you know they're all handsome. You know the camera loves them. They all looked phenomenal in this music video. They're cool. They're handsome. The choreography is really good. For a song like this, I wouldn't want to be the choreographer because it's a lot slower than typical WayV. The chorus, yeah, the chorus picks up, but still, I'm not sure in my head, I would be like, what should I do here? This choreography is good. It's really well done. It stood out to me, maybe because the song is a little different or maybe because it was good, but I liked the choreography. Shout out to Win Win with that platinum hair. I love a good platinum hairstyle for a comeback, and this one worked perfectly. They all actually looked really good in this music video. Xiaojun has some like yellow streaks that on anyone else might not have worked. He looks great. He pulled it off. He can pull off anything. I mean, they all can. This is a handsome group. I love the scene though. You know, I talked about the song building in intensity, this really intense build. The music video has that. The music video, we're kind of in a gangster vibe tonight. It feels like they're gangsters, and there's a lot of really high stakes in this music video. And there's one scene where everything's on fire behind them. I loved that. I thought that that was really effective and beautifully shot. Beautiful, beautiful music video. It feels heavy. The stakes are high. Good acting and good performances all around. WayV did not come to play with this comeback. And I think they killed it. I think they killed it. This is a really good comeback that more people should be talking about. It's different and it works so, so well. Let's get to some album picks. I really liked this project. Songs that stood out to me: Ain't No Thing, No One But You, Invincible, and Lighthouse and Be All Right. Amazing. Ain't No Thing. I love the synth and the rhythm to this one. If they wanted something more upbeat, if they did want to go a different route, I would have gone with this song. I think this song is really fun. It's strong and it still has a different sound. It's not the traditional SM wavy. Loved it. No One But You. Ugh, ugh. Softer side of wavy. I am so here for it. The acoustic guitar in this track, it kind of like softens things up. And then the melody is really pretty. I love the opening verse. The harmonies are good. This is just a beautiful song. Beautiful. Invincible. Invincible sounds to me like a 2000s hip hop song, but not an aggressive one, like one that's very smooth and happy. This is a very smooth, slick hip hop song. It's happy, it's a celebratory song. I loved the feel of this one. It really grabbed me. Lighthouse. Oh my goodness, Lighthouse. What a gorgeous ballad. It's a longing ballad. You know, it's, I miss you. I miss you. And just thinking of that person. Yeah. This, again, their vocal delivery is so effective that a traditional longing ballad, you're not like reinventing the wheel with that. With it, they deliver the music. It's really effective. This one I thought was beautiful. Then you have Be All Right. I feel like that was a great way to kind of say, you know, we're going to be okay. We are okay. We're moving forward. WayV's okay. The fans are okay. Things are going to be all right. When groups go through member transitions, losing a member, it's hard to kind of find your identity sometimes. And to be real, Lucas was such an important member of WayV that that's a giant loss. Lucas was a huge part of NCT's whole world. I mean, he was in Super M. He was a massive, massive star in the K-pop universe within NCT and obviously with WayV. So to lose him, they lost a lot. And I thought in their last comeback, it was clear the song was written with Lucas in mind, being in the group, and it just didn't work for me. And it felt like they were trying to navigate being a group without him. I mean, even just the formations, right? When you go from 7, you can do like the perfect V. When you go to 6, you don't have that option. So it felt like they were trying to navigate what to do. And then unfortunately, SM took so long in deciding Lucas's future. I don't think it was fair for anyone the way that that went down. Either have him leave the group, have him leave SM, have him come back, make an announcement. You don't put somebody on hiatus for years without the fans knowing what's going on. It's not fair. The whole situation was very, very frustrating as a fan. Lucas was always my bias wrecker. I adored him. So selfishly for me, I was like, that was a tough time in K-pop. I feel like WayV's moved on. They're moving forward. This album feels like a celebratory, in a good place, moving forward. They're in a good place. There's no more shot glasses full of tears for WayV, referencing Jungkook's album from earlier. They're going to be all right. They are. They're okay. We're all okay collectively as fans. This is the lineup and it's great. And let's move forward. And they leaned into their strengths. They leaned into those vocals. Xiaozhan's a star. Lean into that. They did. I thought these songs worked. I thought this album worked. It's a shame that this comeback is in such a busy time because like if this came out in like, I don't know, February or March, it would have such an impact. I think this is a really great comeback that not enough people are talking about. I love this comeback. I really wish well for WayV. WayV was at KCON. Honestly, KCON this year was amazing. And they were phenomenal. They really stood out. They were so handsome and attractive and cool in person. And they're great performers. Great performers. They attacked the stage. They were so much fun to watch. So highly recommend seeing WayV if you get a chance. If you haven't listened to this album, give it a chance. There's some good stuff on here, I promise you. Before I get to my rankings, it's time to talk biases. My bias has changed in this group. Originally, it was Xiaozhan. He stood out to me the most. The first time I ever reviewed them was Bad Alive. And I was like, yeah, who is that? Then I switched to Win Win when I was watching one of the reality shows. When I saw them in person at KCON, I felt like an idiot. I was like, why would I ever switch? Xiaozhan's my man. No shade to Win Win. He's super handsome. But Xiaozhan's my bias. And Yang Yang is my wrecker. He stood out to me a lot in person too. He has an interesting personality. If you haven't watched their puppy interview, what a great way to get into their personalities and into this group. That's my bias in wrecker and WayV, but all 6 members are fantastic. Let's get to my rankings. These are my rankings from least favorite to favorite on WayV's new album. They gave us 10 songs on My Youth, the second album. Okay, number 10, On My Youth, English version, just because, it's the same song. Number 9 was Poppin' Love. Number 8, Rodeo. Number 7, Moonlight. Moonlight sounds like a Super M song. Number 6, Be Alright. Number 5, Lighthouse. Number 4, Invincible. Number 3, the single On My Youth. My number 2 is No One But You. And my favorite song on this album, it's Ain't No Thing. Love that song. I really like this release. There's a lot of really good stuff in this release. So congratulations to WayV. Rooting for you. Great comeback. Well deserved. I hope it does really well. And selfishly, I hope I get to see WayV perform live again. They were phenomenal in concert. Let's move on to some K-pop news. The world of K-pop moves fast. Here's what happened since last time I talked to you. Forgive me if I forgot anything. Idol, aespa, and IVE are releasing a collaboration song called Nobody on November 16th. That's exciting. That's a massive collab with like the biggest girl groups. I believe it's only one member from each group. So it's Soyeon from Idol, Wonyoung from IVE, and Karina from aespa. Those are some powerful ladies. Excited for that one. Speaking of collaborations, Enhypen's album's coming out soon, and they announced that they have a collaboration with Bella Poarch. I'm not sure about this collaboration, guys. I'm not sure this is who I would have collaborate with Enhypen. There's many reasons I feel this way, but the number one, she's known for having a tattoo of the Japanese rising sun symbol. So if you know anything about Korean history, why on earth would you pick her to collaborate with a K-pop group? She's since had the tattoo removed a few years ago and said she had no idea what that meant. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to say anything, but I know she lived in Japan for a few years, so I would think you would know what that symbol means. I What are you doing? What are you doing with Enhypen? Like, they should be. I'm trying to think who I would put them with. Like, Sabrina Carpenter is the type of person they should be collaborating with now. This collaboration, I don't understand why Hybe is so obsessed with giving mid to well below mid singers collabs with their boy groups because like they're just doing them a favor. This isn't going to help Enhypen. People are going to boycott it actually. This is hurting their comeback. So, it's a business move that somebody is profiting from, but it's not the K-pop group, and I think this was the wrong choice. New Jeans will be performing at the 2023 Billboard Music Awards. Those are in like less than 2 weeks. It's November 19th. They're performing. They're making their debut. This is their American awards show debut. Huge deal. We all remember when BTS performed at the Billboard Music Awards. That's a gateway for a lot of performers. Very exciting. 17 debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with their latest album. I loved that album. I loved that comeback. Congratulations to them. Jungkook and T by T won European Music Award videos at the EMAs, MTV's EMAs, this past weekend. T by T won the Push Performance Award, and Jungkook won Best K-pop and Best Song for Seven. Again, I'm not sure I would say Seven is K-pop. It's an English song with an American rapper. That should have just Best Song I'm fine with, but Best Pop I'm fine with, but if the only thing that makes it K-pop is it's a Korean artist, yeah, there's a huge discussion to have around this topic. Taeyeon, my girl Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, she's coming back. Big comeback. It's called 2X. That's on November 27th. One of the best female singers in K-pop. VIX is coming back. Old school. Let's go. VIX is coming back on November 21st after 4 years. But there is a caveat. The leader is sitting this one out. He will not be participating. So it's 3 members of VIX. New Jeans and Baekhyun will perform at the League of Legends opening ceremonies for the World Championship on November 19th. Since New Jeans is performing live at the Billboard Music Awards, I'm guessing these are pre-taped performances. I've announced a world tour. They're doing a massive world tour. Huge. They're coming to a city near you probably because it's not just like the normal world tour, which is just like the United States. A lot of groups say world tour and it'll just be the United States and then a couple dates in Korea. This one seems like they're growing everywhere. So that's 2024. I can't imagine how many K-pop tours we're going to get in 2024. I'm about to go broke, y'all. These K-pop concerts are expensive, and from what I've heard, the IVE pricing was very expensive. Big news at Cube Entertainment. I mentioned that 5 members have left Cube Entertainment from Pentagon. Pentagon's one of my favorite slept-on boy groups. They are so good. If they would have been another label, I think they'd be known worldwide. They'd be much bigger than they are. They're so, so good. So 5 members of Pentagon already left Cube. This week it was announced that Hyung-suk, he left too. He said peace. And then B2B is in a huge dispute, and it sounds like they are leaving Cube Entertainment as well. So Cube has had a bad week with their boy bands. They're having a rough time. Cube is the label that forced Dawn. I reviewed Dawn's solo album a few episodes back, and I'm a massive fan. I think he's so talented. But he was in Pentagon and was forced to leave because he was dating Hyuna, who's a solo star on the label. And they both refused to break up and wanted to be together and be in love. And the label said, well, then you're gone. So most of the time when that happens, the idols apologize and, go back to their group and apologize to the fans and all of that stuff. These two didn't. They skipped off into the sunset and the label kind of said, screw you, we're going to be in love. So Cube, it's hard for me to feel bad for them because I'm like, well, Dawn was a great member in Pentagon. You could have had another really talented member, but I think he's doing wonderful. I think it worked out for those two. And I'm happy for these guys that they're leaving. Who knows? But tough week for Cube. I hope everyone does land on their feet. I don't wish ill for anyone. And again, I love Pentagon so much. B2B, I talked about them all the time in the last podcast because obviously I was watching Kingdom. I wish everyone well. Life is too short to wish ill on anyone. Honestly, that's what I've learned as I've gotten older. I'm not a teenager, guys. I know, shocking. Turns out I'm not a teenager. I'm not even close to being a teenager. So one thing I've learned in my old age, life's too short. Life's too short to wish ill on anyone. I wish well for everyone that I know and everyone I don't know. Life is hard. You don't need to spend energy rooting against anyone. And I'm definitely not rooting against Cube Entertainment, but I hope everyone lands on their feet. Maybe that's why I got emotional reading those Jungkook lyrics, or maybe there's just so much heaviness in the world. There's this collective heaviness with what's going on in the Middle East. There's some real heartbreak out there, some real heartbreak. I thought it was moving that Taehyun from T by T acknowledged one of his fans who passed away in Gaza. She's Palestinian. She was killed. That was moving. And, there's been images from the rubble. There were images of a Tae photo card for BTS. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people suffering. And I don't want to talk about it because this is escapism and this is something that brings so many people joy. But there's a real heaviness in the world right now. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of suffering happening right now. And it's hard sometimes to just keep going and talk about K-pop and just smile and be bubbly for a show when an image of a photo card in the rubble of a child that was just murdered. And there's just so much. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that children are losing their lives. K-pop fans are victims of war right now. And I just thought it was nice that Taehyun saw that a lot of the MOAs posted about this girl who was a massive MOA and just so obsessed with him. And unfortunately, she's not here anymore. And I think in these moments where we're all able to be in this collective space together and listen to music and celebrate these comebacks and share what we love with each other, there's people out there just like us that are experiencing something so horrific. So I just want to say, a collective prayer, a collective thought, a collective moment for every K-pop fan out there. Because my heart is broken with those images, and the reality of it is sometimes too hard for us to grasp and talk about. I totally understand. I don't want to be a downer, but when I saw that stuff this past week, it's my world. It's K-pop. Here's a K-pop fan. Here's a girl just like me, just like you, and sadly no longer around. And that's just, it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. So shout out to Taehyun for recognizing her, and for all the MOA that really recognized her, and whoever spread the photos of the army victim and those pictures in the rubble. I just want to give a big hug to everybody listening and send a lot of love to everyone around the world. K-pop is what brings us together, but some people are going through unspeakable horror right now, and my heart is broken. It's broken for them and it shouldn't be happening. Now I'm like bawling on the pod again. Jeez. It's okay. I'm a human being and I feel things, and what's going on in the world is so sad. I feel okay that I'm crying on the pod, and I want to mourn this victim along with all of you, Moa, listening. And I don't have words. Sorry, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to bring things down too much. I know this is escapism for us, but that when a K-pop fan is affected, when it hits our community, it's hard to not think about it and talk about it. So rest in peace to that soul. I don't want to cry anymore on the pod tonight. I'm going to move on. Next week, it's here, you guys. Next week, it's here. Stray Kids. Stray Kids next week. I was going to there's so many releases. I was going to review a few other releases next week as well. But as I started thinking about it, I was like, Stray Kids deserve an entire episode. So, very special episode. Meg, who I introduced you to in the first episode, she'll be back. It's both of our alt groups. We're going to be talking about it. Stray Kids deserve an entire episode for this comeback. This is the comeback I've been waiting for since I went on hiatus, since I took a break from podcasting for 4 months this year. I cannot wait to talk about Stray Kids next week. I'm so excited for this comeback. I know a lot of you are as well. So next week, it's Stray Kids. Don't worry, I'll catch up on the rest of the reviews the following week. I know we've got stuff coming from BI and aespa and Red Velvet and Hypen, the boys. The rest of November is stacked. I'll be here. I'll be giving you reviews. But next week, stay. I got you. It's all about Stray Kids. Cannot wait for this release. A lot of good stuff this week. A lot of good stuff. Congratulations to Jungkook. He's killing this. I really love standing next to you. Zerobaseone and Rise. We've got two amazing young boy groups. And then WayV. WayV's reinventing themselves, and I love it. I'm so here for it. So, some amazing music to celebrate in K-pop this week. I hope everyone listening and watching is doing well. Thank you for inviting me into your life. I'm forever grateful that anyone cares what I have to say and that anyone tunes in. Thank you. I have amazing listeners. Y'all mean the world to me. I really, really appreciate you supporting the show. So, Discord's out. I will be setting up a Patreon and I will have some merch soon. I'm working on those things. So keep your eyes peeled. But let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy K-pop. Let's enjoy this collective space. I'm very, very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful that my biggest problem is too many amazing K-pop releases to review. Life is precious, and we are all so lucky that we get to be doing this right now and being in this experience together. So I love you all so, so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for everything. I know I talk too much. I can't help it. Sorry for the tears tonight. My goodness, I'm an emotional wreck. Woo! Next week, I'll be back. Next week is Stray Kids Week. Next week is joy personified. I'm so excited for this comeback. Stays, I've got you. This is going to be a great one. And I'm going to see the Rose this weekend. So, LA, all of my listeners, all my friends in LA, let me know. Are you going to the Forum? Maybe I'll see you there. I'm looking forward to that concert. I love you all so much. Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for taking the ride. It's going to get better and better. I'm still testing things and figuring this out, but the past 7 weeks have flown by and I'm really excited and happy to be back doing what I love. So thank you all so much for your support. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering for you. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.